do it right when we clean up, and when you clean up from under the black desk, you can find things like
Good job. Good job. You found it, huh?
And I found the latch to this guy under there.
Okay, well, hold on to them so you don't lose them.
I'm gonna put him in my bag.
Shalom. How are you? Empty squeeze on. Yeah. Gosh, echo. I thought I fixed it. Turn this down some more. Hopefully that'll get rid of the echo completely. Okay. I'm just waiting for the days to pass. A lot of cleanup work. That's it. And then I'll be done. I have some things in the kitchen still, some glasswares and like my crock pot that need to be wrapped up and boxed. But other than that, it's just taking out trash. And I have a stack of homeschool curriculum catalogs that need to be trashed. So that is what we're doing today. It's so hot. Glad I kind of finished up the way I did. I just spaced everything out. I had enough time to um, take my time packing. I don't like to rush, even though I can. But it's hot, and then when it's hot, you don't want to do anything. So yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna go through and tape up some boxes, and we are ready to go. Break the beds down and uh, clear my desk, the computers, and my printer, and we're done. So, but that is why I am going to delegate. They're in there vacuuming right now, and it should go pretty well with the little helpers. Oh. All right. Our scripture that we were covering today is from Psalm 101. Sorry, I have no, I didn't cancel. Shalom, I thought you had canceled for today. I'm glad I checked that. No, you guys have to give me grace. And I know I scheduled it and then I put the first time I intended in the description box, and I didn't realize it until now. But I always try to say, give me 30 minutes because anything happens. Yeah, I have a touch of laryngitis, so I was debating on whether or not I could actually do it. So, Psalm 101, King James Version. I will sing of mercy and judgment unto the Lord. No, unto thee, O Lord, I will sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all of the wicked land, that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord. So I am going to open that up to you all to, excuse me, kind of tell me what um, what you took away from that scripture as you read over and meditated over, and yeah, and toss some thoughts around and talk about what it means to be humble, a humble homeschool mother, a humble homeschool parent, um, what that means to you. I'm sure everybody has different ideas on that. Submit to Christ says, Shalom, Mama Vicky, how are you? Vicky says, I am well, thank you. How are you? I'm okay, thank you. I have been meditating on this scripture an entire week. It's so powerful. Yes. I think that the scripture. Oh, you found your slippers? Good job. Takes us to a new level of living holy before the Lord. It does, really. You know, we say we pick up our Bibles and we read scriptures and things like that, but do we really meditate on them? Do we really put them into perspective? Do they line up according to our ways, or are we trying to curate what we want, the scriptures to mean rather than as they are intended. Submit to Christ says, walking wisely, living perfectly before Christ, and with a perfect heart, daily denying ourselves. And if we do fall, we have the scripture to remind us of His grace. Yes, grace is the key word. Perfect heart, living perfectly, living perfectly. Sorry, I had to leave for a minute, Vicky says. Um, yes, that's what I was getting ready to go back on. I will behave myself wisely and in a perfect way. I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I hear a lot of times we talked about social media and the emotional attachment. I see a lot of perfect, but on the other hand, I see a lot of judgment against that perfect. And then I hear people saying, well, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Okay. No, we're not perfect. But if you were to ask me, I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I don't know about you, but I'm perfect. I'm perfect because of His grace. Because I'm weak, He made me strong. I'm perfect. My perfect is not your perfect. So when I have things that look good, yes, I'm going to share because to me, I did good. And it wasn't me. Somebody else had a hand in that. Give yourself credit where credit is due. It's not being boastful to say you are perfect. But if you don't acknowledge that, that takes away from your own self-esteem. You're always feeling like a failure. Everybody's always following each other, trying to keep up. Leave well enough alone. You were fine before you came into, uh, what you saw. When you wake up in the morning, sometimes people have their phones or their iPads or whatever right by their bed, and the first thing they do is social media, and that shouldn't be the case. That will ruin your day completely. You could be having a perfectly good morning, and about to have a fantastic day, and you go look at something, and that just, oh my gosh, your mind goes somewhere else. I have to look for your slippers. I don't know what happened to it. We're gonna have to look for it. So I try not to. Sometimes I go all day without picking up my phone to check anything because I'm in a zone and I don't want to mess that up. But at the same time, you have to recognize that you have flaws and work on those flaws. If somebody, says to you, gives you a suggestion on something, Don't look at it as a negative. Humble yourself and take what they're saying as a positive. Constructive criticism is not a bad thing. But on the other hand, if you know that someone is just outright going against you, um, yeah, you're not going to want to accept that. They may not know your true life, your true intentions, and your true walk. And that's where you have to discern, is this worth accepting, or is it something that you have to just leave? So you have to know perfect. Like I said, when you see perfect, you have to know which perfect is good. There's good perfect and there's bad perfect. So giving yourself a lot of grace, accepting the flaws is something that you have to remind yourself of daily. I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. Exactly. Like I said, just because somebody uh, tells you something, it does not mean you have to accept it. It could be done out of jealousy. A lot of people have ill intentions, even when it is seemingly harmless advice. You have to use that discernment, and a lot of times it is hard to determine that. But if you stay in the Word, you'll have your answer. With he that worketh deceit, that telleth lies, shall not tarry in my sight. That's pretty deep. Pretty deep. And, when you really submit to Christ, says when you really sit back and think the Scripture is all we have. That's true. That is so true. That's it. And the way we apply it, are we humbling ourselves, receiving it with an open mind and an open heart, or trying to, cater it? This scripture covered every aspect of our lives. Indeed, indeed. I had that whole. I don't know if I have the date on there. I usually try to write the date, but I had that whole Psalms 101, 2, 3, 4, and 5 highlighted already. I didn't put the date, but let's see. No, this says 90, 97. So that's how long ago that's been. Um, yeah, it does cover a lot, a lot. So I'm gonna get into my little page of notes on the homeschooling side of being humble. Homeschooling parents have to be humble. Okay, that's just a given. Hi, Faith, how are you? It's humbling to know that our life, in life situations, we can look back on the word. If we are prideful, we will never receive a word as a little child. Exactly. 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 Vicky says, hi, Faith. We have to be humble. We have to be flexible. And we have to be willing to work hard and learn from others. Um, yeah, learn from others. Definitely learn from others. You may spend months or even a year deliberating over which homeschool curriculum to to which one is best for your child. And then shortly after you start to use it, you learn that it doesn't help the child. And I've talked about this before many times. I did the whole homeschooling with YouTube deal and things like that. And I said to be careful about watching other people and watching the curriculums and things like that, because that curriculum was chosen for that particular child, that particular family, and the majority of the times the person sharing does not come back with a follow-up. So you never know what happens. You see the beginning and it looks all good and things like that, but mm-mm. The parent has to be willing to study different teaching methods to find the one that works. And see, when you are, it's great to have, YouTube and uh, Facebook and Instagram to see things. It's information, internet information highway. But it's not always the best way to get a perfect fit. You may spend months researching or years researching homeschool videos. You start homeschooling only to find out what you saw and what you tried to implement does not work. Imitation is a setup for failure. I always say before you explore any homeschool community, you should know your own intent for homeschooling. Before you sit down and watch any video, I want to encourage everybody, because they're going to start popping off July and August. There's going to be a lot of curriculum videos, and some people have already started because they're trying to show everybody before they start buying things. But for those of you that have just joined and intend to start, those of you that have not purchased anything and are still trying to decide, and I haven't even shared anything yet, what you need to do, instead of in the social media, you need to sit down writing intent. And see, a lot of states, you have to write an intent to your state and turn that in. So write an intent. Then make a list of questions. Okay, a list of questions. You see this curriculum, you know about it. Make a list of questions about that curriculum that you want the answers to. Okay, you want to seek veteran homeschool parents. Make sure that the veteran homeschool parent has children in upper grades or graduated. Um, a lot of times I see parents of homeschoolers, they're just starting out and they are, everybody wants to share. That's great. But if you get somebody that has only done this for a year and then you have somebody following, they're not really too sure. They're still treading the water. So there's not much for them to be able to give out. Okay, it's a lot of questions that they can't even answer because they're still in that finding my way mode. But what they are good for is being a journey buddy. They make great journey buddies. Okay, I see a lot of new homeschoolers just link up and they end up just following each other and that helps them out to keep them motivated. But you want to find somebody that's seasoned and that can kind of guide you, and that's where that humble attitude comes in. Okay, you have to be willing to learn from somebody that has been there. They've been through the bumps, they've been through the trials, and they can tell you, this may or may not work. Don't see it as criticism. It's constructive criticism, especially the veterans that have multiple children. Those children don't have the same learning style, and they have that experience. It's just like a teacher, a public school teacher. Generally, well, it's how it used to be. Nowadays, teachers are not what they used to be, but the older teachers had that more experience, and even the children took to them better than a younger teacher because they were more loving and more nurturing with their teaching styles. And they just knew, with all that experience, years and years, um, they just knew how to do things. I watch and, excuse me, support everybody. I keep an open mind and try to find, new ideas and things from just about anybody. But honestly, I don't get too much of what I'm looking for out of many videos. I don't get too much of it. It's just um, they're still finding their way, and I understand that. It's the same with parenting. Homeschooling, parenting lends itself to homeschooling. So generally, oh goodness, the longer you've been a parent, you have more experience to base things on. You have more knowledge. Again, especially with parents of multiple children.
Mom, no, she went with my lightsaber.
Come here. Is that good behavior? Say hello. No. Say hello.
Hello.
Say how are you?
How on you.
Did you do something to Layla?
No. Leo whacked Layla with my lightsaber on the finger.
Okay. When you go tell Layla. Layla, come here, please. Did you whack Layla? Why would you whack Layla? Hmm? What happened? What happened? You just don't want to talk about it right now? Do you understand that she's upset and she's crying and she may be hurt? Was that a good idea? Was that a good idea?
Yeah.
It was a good idea to hurt?
No.
Okay, calm down. Are you hurt?
No.
Okay, I want you to apologize to her. Tell her you're sorry and you won't do it again. Say, I'm sorry, Layla. So you just want to go sit in timeout, right?
No.
Apologize to her. Do you think she wants to play with you if you're hitting her?
No.
Okay. Tell her you're sorry. Give her up. What are you crying for? Because you did something wrong. She's the one that's upset. So what is it that you wanted her to do? That you thought hitting her was going to make her do it? Or what did she have that you wanted? What did you have?
A stick.
So wouldn't it have been a better idea to ask her when she's finished? Could you use it? And where's yours?
It's outside.
Where outside? You don't know. So ask her, can you borrow the sticky hand? Instead of hitting her, you don't hit to get something. She is not going to want to share her stuff if you're going to hit her. Come here. Where's the sticky hand?
It's in the living.
Are you finished using it?
Yeah.
Can she use it?
Yeah.
Go with her. Tell her you're sorry and go get it.
She won't tell me.
Hi, guys.
She won't tell me.
She won't tell you what?
Sorry.
Okay. I'm going to give her a little bit to calm down. She will.
No, she won't.
Yes, she will, Layla.
No, she won't.
Okay. What's the matter?
I want my treat.
Okay, look on the counter and get your snack.
No.
And so now we have an attitude. Her pride is getting in the way. Aaliyah, come here. She wants what? Okay, go look on the counter and get your snack.
No.
Give me 1 second. Here is housekeeping.
Here.
Come here. Come here. Come here. you. Okay. Put the wrappers in the trash. Make sure everybody puts them in the trash. All right. So, there's one chick. Her ego is crushed. Oh boy. Oh, thank you very much. I had to go get my little buddy. I told you. She thought I had packed it up, but I didn't. You guys know I don't hit her with that. I just have to show it to her. Goodness. Stubborn, humble. She needs to learn to be humble because she is not humble. It just bothers her. But, she will apologize to her later on. She will before the after I finish. I have to have a little talk with her. Here's I at. Okay, I talked about the yes ma'am, crush those egos. Yeah, because if not, she thinks she can run the world. She wants to control the house, and I don't play that. She has the same thing that she just can't find hers. So she thinks she can bully somebody into getting theirs. Um, I said the parents of younger children are more likely to only be a step or two above you, and they're still searching for their questions to be answered. You know, the list of questions I talked about, they still have questions that they're searching for answers for. And, you know, like I said, just they often make good journey buddies. You know, a lot of times I still have questions after I watch. If I'm watching a curriculum review or something like that, I have questions because they're not actually sharing, um, you know, exactly what I want to see. And sometimes we just don't think when we're making the videos to be as detailed, but I always try to be as detailed. I just don't want to leave you all hanging and wondering um, what, you know, because once you buy it and it's not what you think, you know, I show you something and it looks really good, and then when you get it, it's like, wait a minute, I need multiplication. This doesn't even have multiplication. She didn't say, you know, that type of thing. Um, yeah, but that comes with experience. It comes with experience. I've been able to kind of learn when I am sharing and vlogging things to make sure to go into detail, you know, and everybody appreciates that because you don't want to have any gaps. Homeschooling parents often share their insights with each other because they know they don't have all the answers. Okay, so that's what we do here. We share. We're sharing here because we don't have, even myself, I don't have all of the answers. I have a whole new set of children, and they are completely different from my older children. So I'm still looking for answers myself. I take some things away, but then I have to use my own discernment on what I want to do with information that I've received from someone else, whether it's an older or a younger homeschool parent. But that humility it always keeps parents on edge. If it doesn't sound like a good fit, or if it doesn't sound like you are a good fit for homeschooling, there are other options. Um, there's plenty of options. There's online, there's charter, there's private. You can hire tutors, things like that, because oftentimes we get caught up in what we see and then we get into the homeschooling. Okay, and I have something coming up. I'm going to next month bring it up. And I think I saw somebody post something and it was just really funny when I saw that. But it's a topic that I have coming up after the first year of homeschooling. Okay, um, you get in there and it's not what you think at all. And it's like, just like anything, you go and uh, go to a restaurant and get a meal, and it looks really good on the menu, and then when you eat it, it's like, what? This was the worst thing ever. I could have done better than this. So that often happens. Says, Faith says, anyone here have older sons? I have a question on your opinion. Yes, I have an older son. Faith, I caught my older twin son watching something very inappropriate online, highly inappropriate. Should I ban him from being online? Yes, ma'am, immediately. Yes. And that is just the reason why I don't give my children access, because they will do it. And people give millions of excuses. This is the internet age. They need to learn how to use the internet. They're going to be behind. They're going to be this and that. They can use the internet when they can pay for the internet in my house. If they need to use the internet, I'm going to be right here. I do not leave my children alone with any type of electronic social media at all. It just, you guys know, even TV. Um, yeah, even books. I have to read my books before, because I have to know what they're going to be exposed to when they're away from home. I have to know. And my kids got so used to knowing, right from wrong. I could send them to someone's house and they knew I can't watch this. I can, can we do something else? I'm not allowed to watch this. But yeah, I don't give them access to anything. I have to be right there, and that's just how it is. Let's see. Faye says, yes, I did. It was very eye-opening. He had been on the site. Come to find out for a while. Yeah, Faith. Submit to Christ says that could cause problems in the household. Yes, yes. Vicky says, but talk to him. He should get his info from you, not from friends, and definitely not the net. Yes, and obviously he's curious, and so that's what you do. They're going to be curious. You cannot shelter them from everything. You have to be on top of it, but you don't want them to get the information from somewhere else, because it's the wrong information. Also, take the cell phones away because they can access anything online these days. Yes, they need to keep their hearts pure too, not just their bodies. Talk about how lust leads to temptation to sin. Yes, Vicky, you are right. And Faith says, I did, but his father disciplined him harshly. This was a very shocking discovery. Submit to Christ says MM7. Yes, I read the books too. It says, at faith, yes, I'm glad that discipline was involved. Children today need to be, yes, even that age, because if you don't do anything, if you just are so shocked or embarrassed and you just try to ignore it, they're going to take that as, okay, they didn't get a consequence and they're just going to do it again when they get that opportunity. Faith says he had been on this site while online doing his classes. He had his teacher open on one screen and the site where I could not see, but the Lord told me to go look and I found it. That's why I don't, you know, all the devices are in one place. My computer, the kid's computer. And that's just how it's going to be. And I have to really, I have to constantly stay on the little one because his brother taught him a lot of stuff. And being that he can read very well, he knows how to do a lot of stuff. And I have to say, hey, you can't do this. Even with his dad, I have to remind him, look, don't put him, in front of this. You have to sit there with him. Submit to Christ says, yes, the Spirit leads to truth, to all truth. I'm glad you found out. It definitely. He says, yes, I walk to them and just sit. Just tell them to move and I'll look at the history as much as I can with my limited knowledge. Yeah, exactly. That mother's intuition. That seems like I always knew when something wasn't right. Exactly. You are so right. Mm. Vicky, it is imperative that we do this, especially with older children. And not just the boys, it's the girls too. Faith, me too. Computer is gone for good. We are now adding child protection to everyone's devices. Yeah, that's how ours are set up. The kids have accounts, but they can't do anything. Submit to Christ says society promotes nothing but sex, so teenagers are prone to see search after their desires. Vicky says, then they would look at me like, how did she know? Yeah, because I know. Yep, and they know how to, they got smart and learned how to delete the history, but they don't know how to do the cookies. So, yeah, I caught one of mine doing some things, and I said, oh no, we're not going to have that. And I was in the room. I said, no, 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 not at all. Proverbs 4 and 23, yes. Um, as far as being humble in homeschool, do as much research as you can. And, you may read books on education and things like that. You may attend homeschool conventions, seek out support groups, and, try to get to know a couple of families. And if you are lucky, you may be able to shadow, go spend some time at a homeschool family's house a couple of days and just see what they do. I've heard of people, typically they say a year, but Some people may spend a year and a half, and you may end up reading, 2 years. You may end up reading 50 books, just trying to get in that information. Um, Being humble, you have to think about your the goals that you want for your children, not just for yourself. Faye says, "Oh yes, I got the idea from a friend online via a PlayStation chat room. This person was an adult talking to my child. Yeah, that's why I don't let them in there. And that I know a lot of people do the Minecraft and the kids play the stuff. We don't do that. We don't do any of that. No gaming. Mm-mm. Submit to Christ says we have to guard our hearts. Even homeschooling books have wicked things. Yes, they do. They sure do. You have to pay attention. And coming into a lot. What happens is when you're researching, uh, a lot of times people hear things like learning style, teaching style, homeschool method, and so that's what they're looking for, and they really don't know how to make heads or tails, and they say somebody's video and oh, we're the Charlotte Mason style, or we're the classical, or we're the Waldorf. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna just stick one little plug in there. You need to research that stuff for Waldorf, CULT. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it right there. You're gonna be teaching them kids about fairies and nature and all that. Okay, it's cultish. So that's why you don't ever hear me speaking of. It's not that I don't know about it, but I expect you all to do your own research on that stuff. Don't follow that stuff. Okay. It looks very harmless, but it's not harmless. So you have to know, and sometimes the resources that you need are the ones that you may shirk, and don't do that because you're looking at the ones with all the bells and whistles, and you think that's the best. Let me just tag along with them. Don't do that. Take the advice of the wise, and you can tell when they're actually taking the time to deliver messages, follow up with your Q&As and things like that. You can tell. So I want to say that homeschooling requires a level of commitment that a mainstream school doesn't. But many parents swear by the results. Okay, think of the academic advantage of learning at your own pace, 1-to-1 ratio. Given familiar environment. Oh, we'll see. With the parent, that desires the absolute best. Um, Personally, I can't imagine anything else. That is my perfect is to have them here. Um, but again, homeschooling requires a level of commitment. Humble yourselves and step down your activities. You have to prioritize. You cannot be running to this place and this place and this place all day long because you think you can homeschool from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock and then you out the door going over there. That's inconsistent and it's not fair to that child. You have to be committed. Okay, I have children that want to learn things. They want to do school, you know, uh, odd hours, and because of my commitment. Sometimes their brains don't wake up. It's 12 o'clock. They might not want to do school right now. Um, and that's fine. Yes, I will see if I can find you my little phony. So, yeah, you have to be committed to this. And that's what happens a lot of times. After that first year, that commitment, they're, all on board and have the new stuff and have been shopping and they're very committed. You ask somebody, and I'm very humble. At the end of that first year, they screaming, help, what have I gotten myself into? I cannot do this. I will get you a new one. I will get you a new one. Her face says, wait a minute, let me go back up here. Submit to Christ says that faith pedophilia is in the schools, the libraries, online, everywhere. Yes. Faith says that is why I pulled him into homeschooling. He is a verb impressionable child, very nice and giving. Big K says yes. What's with all the fairy stuff nowadays? Yeah, that's that Waldorf, that classical conversations. You know, yeah, we like nature and all of that, but yeah, I can't with it. I can't, and I see a lot of people trying to promote that stuff heavily, and people that are supposed to be in word or on the up and up, and that just gives me pause. And I hope you share a lot more this year. You know a lot. Really, Faith? I mean, it's my experience. I don't know. I'm very humble. You all know that. I don't like to come across as, ostentatious or know it all. But I share just my experience. My experience is my own. But I have a lot of, just different things that have come up. I've seen a lot. I just say, even just outside of homeschooling, things that a family could go through with children. Every situation, from the great to the tragic, okay? Everything that you could imagine in parenting has happened in our family. We've had to deal with it, okay? Some deep, deep stuff. I'm not going to really go into it, but you have girls and you have certain issues. Everybody has to be prepared for that type of thing. We've been there. You have.
I see a boxes. Mom, the boxes.
Yes.
Right here.
You have illegal paraphernalia, things like that. Been there, done that. You have to message me on that. That's all I can say. I'm not going to, put us out there, but yeah, we've been there and done that. I've talked about the juvenile system. Been there, done that. And if if I was this was my first child, I wouldn't have any of that experience at all. I would know nothing. But yeah, I'm just, I can share. I'm happy to be able to share. Somebody needs some help. I don't mind helping. And as long as you all ask, um, I'm willing. So I encourage you all, ask. You may think, it may be somebody else that's not sharing or not willing to share that type of information. Ask me. You never know. And, I might not have the perfect answer for you, but there may be something that you can take out of it. Wendy Henry, hi, Wendy says that is true about homeschooling, being a commitment. How did you all manage to homeschool your children successfully for so long? I have seen so many parents on here on YouTube sending their children back to school. Yeah, but they seem to do so well. Exactly. Excuse me one moment. Come here. I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I love that question. Come here. You want to come with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this one of your shoes in here? Or did you take it off? Because I have a star shoe in here. If this one is yours, I'll pick it up. You can come get it. Watch her call me back in there. I think Faith says, I think the burnout come through doubting. And again, back to that commitment, huh? Yeah. Wendy said, so many young ladies are failing homeschool is scary. Wendy, hello everyone. Shame on me for not saying hello. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, and like I said, that's a topic that I already had. It's already in my notebook. It's coming up, and you have to be humble to receive that message. So I'm just gonna shoot it to you straight. Wendy, I think society has trained women to think that children are a burden, that we must follow America's nightmare of living. Yeah. And yes, first of all, to you said successfully. That has to do with your humbleness and your level of commitment. Um, I share with you all the work. They say you get what you put into it. There's a lot of things that I have to put in order to receive, and because I've seen the end product, um, I know where I'm headed, and it's kind of difficult sometimes, but that's why I say start with the year. Start with the year. This year, when you go into homeschooling, you should have your goals, your path laid, and I'm not just talking about a plan, because plans can go by the wayside often, but have a roadmap. But you need to have something designed for your child, that something that you're working towards. If you have a little one that needs to learn how to read, let that be your focus. Highlight that every word, every sentence that they learn how to read. Highlight that you successfully taught them how to read at the end of the year. Then, if you want to work on writing. Let that be your highlight. Let that be your goal. And then you won't burn out. But if you're trying to juggle so many things and you really don't have a straight path, that will burn you out. It will burn the child out. And your commitment, you will see teaching them to read as a burden. because the child is going to become frustrated. You're going to become frustrated, and that has a lot to do with timing. This it's a big commitment. Hi, Mimi, how are you? When homeschooling is not a priority, just something you see your friends doing, then you are going to burn out. Exactly. The moms who know public school will not work for them usually are the long term. Exactly. Let me go back to this comment. Yes, there are a number of parents here that are returning their children to school for various reasons coming this fall. And you can go back and look on their videos. You can follow and you can see all the rough spots. They're already inside. Oh, my goodness. They'll go back out. Is this your shoe down here?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah, those two mismatched shoes. Um, and they're both clean. A lot of times they are, that commitment was so low that their expectations superseded their commitment. And it's just not, yeah, you were watching your friends and you thought it was something you could do. This is not a monkey see, monkey do thing. Everybody cannot do this. You have to have an open mind. You have to know when to have help. You have to know when to step down. When you hit a bump in the road, grow from it. Would you like to say hello? You may have that. Take it to the table. Great comments and advice. Thank you. Mm, I know many parents get frustrated with the children and they will threaten to put them back in public school, and it's just because they've hit a roadblock and they don't know what to do. You have to clear your path. It's not the child's fault. The child is taking direction from you, so you have to be on top of it. That means getting up in the morning. That means spending time on the weekend. If that's your time to
Mom, now,
take that in.
Mom, now next time you gotta go to Family Dollar and buy
Mm,
me another magnet because Leah gave the other one away again.
oh goodness. Okay. You have to know that that time at that you normally spend at I don't know, wherever, at the movies or something, or at a fitness class. If that's something that, yes, it may be for your benefit, but if you are needing that time to rejuvenize and realign things to keep things running, you have to know where your commitments lie. The homeschooling is something that is, your child has to go to school, whether it's in public school or homeschool. So that right there should tell you what should be priority. And I see many parents just kind of, like I said, they want to put it, 8 to 10, we need to do this because we have to move on throughout the day. And that's just not how things work, especially when this is something legal. This is your child's education, the future. Don't complain that you're failing or you're burnt out when you set yourself up to fail. People that when you run a marathon, you don't just get up and go run a 5K on the day of the 5K. You have to train. You have to work hard. It's the same thing with homeschooling. You have to put some time in. You have to eat right. You have to get the right materials and the right sources and things like that. And you have to you running. You have to have the right shoes. I am on a live chat. Can you call me back? Okay. Bye. I want go. What happened? I want a pretzel. We'll go get it. You want some pretzels? No. You want what? What's the matter with you? Where did she come from? Go with. Look at me. Come here. Will you help her out? Go with Layla. She will help you out. So yeah, you have to have the right equipment. If you get the wrong shoes, you're gonna end up not being able to run as efficiently. So if you have the wrong curriculum, you're not gonna be able to do your job. If you eating all sweets and then you get up to go run, you're not gonna be able to finish that. You'll just be stuck. And what do? You have to take the you get a trainer and let that trainer help you so that you can make it. And then you get a running buddy, let that running buddy help you run that race. And that's what you want to do here, whether it's your spouse or a friend that you find, whether your personal friend or somebody in a group or, somebody you link up with online, you all should be able to help each other. That is the point. Everybody's here sharing. Are we sharing out of selfishness? I would think not. I would think everybody that shares is sharing responsibly. Share to help somebody, not just share. We don't want to see you just show something. Be able to help. Be open to helping others. And that's what I do. I don't just give things and then not turn around and help you all. So I'm always very humble in that. Even now, I'm 2 days away from getting out of here, and I'm still here with you all. You all are a commitment, and I'm sure home is priority, and that's what I was determining when to set this chat either yesterday or today. But I had something that I needed to get done, and I said if I don't do it, and I just come on here and what does that say about me? I need to take care of home. Many people cannot move and continue to blog or do things like this. You have to prioritize, and I'm fine. It's because I set a goal, and you guys know I've been doing this for a whole almost 2 months, so I'm okay with it. But I did finish what I had to finish, and so I was able to come on today. The face says to answer the topic question, I would say yes, I'm a humble homeschool parent. Well, I appreciate that. Mimi says, surely not for the faint at heart, impatient or lazy. Exactly. You could not be impatient. I did not have the camera on. I still been vlogging this whole time. I just haven't shared anything. Excuse me. The kids have been working, but let me grab one of these little pages. I've just been pulling up little quick stuff. So I think this is probably the 3-year-old. Okay. She's very good with scissors. I could leave her unattended with scissors and not have to worry because she's one that likes to cut all the borders and everything. She'll get it right. And I think I did vlog some of it. You guys are going to see what I said to her. But I wanted to cut off the excess on the bottom. She didn't want me to do it. She wanted to do it herself. And I did it. And it kind of made her start to cry. That part I did vlog. But I think we were coming up on an hour, of her doing this. One sheet. And see, I had pulled up maybe, I think there was probably about 4 or 5. She wanted to do them all. And I'm still trying to, put some stuff in boxes. It wasn't my intention to sit there because she likes to cut and paste. So that's what we're doing, cut and paste. She knows the words. But my patience was like, can you hurry up just a little bit? Just we don't have to do all the pages right now. We can do something later. But I had to sit there with her and until she cut everything out, glued it on, spelled the words, move on to the next page. So yeah, you have to be very patient, very patient. And if I have to sit for a couple of hours with her, and then I have to go sit with the rest of them for a couple of hours, so be it. Some people don't, they want to hurry up, and it's just that's not always the answer. You got to clean up, you got to do the laundry, you have to cook. How do you do all of this? It's a commitment. It is a commitment. That is the reason why I share, the prep, the organization, the meal vlogs. Use the crock pot, snack preps, things like that. All of that lends itself to my homeschooling. That is how I am successful. Okay, so there's a rhyme and reason to my vlogs. It's not just some random stuff. So I can kind of, sum up. The vlogs are like if I wrote a book on parenting and tips and homeschooling, that would be, the vlogs. I would sum it up. So the vlogs that, if you all are just into the live chats, I encourage you to watch the vlogs because I sprinkle a lot of things into, the vlogs themselves. Submit to Christ that I had to learn to be a humble homeschool parent. I'm still learning. I'm not there yet. I'm humble enough to admit it. Yes, I had lots of tears. So, but I learned from women who have done it and do it well. And, just the cut and paste. There's another mom that I do watch, and she has a 4-year-old. I think he's just 5 now, but it's just interesting. She'll do, weekly, even though they're like my videos, it's probably April, even though we're seeing April, even though it's May, that type of thing, because YouTube is not a priority. But he carefully cuts out the things, and it just. But she knows that this is what she has to do, and she'll say, "Can I help you?" No, I don't want you to help. And that's how that one is. Sometimes she'll put the stuff, she'll be motivated to do it, and then she'll sit there, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'll color it. No, no, I'll do it. So I have to sit and be patient. So I don't have anything else to do but to homeschool these kids. That is my priority. That's how committed I am. I might not catch all the latest movies or be able to go to the stores and just hang out all the time or, hang out with friends or anything like that. But I know my payoff is greater right here. And I'm not, we talked about having that me time. I'm not struggling for time. If I want to sit down and do nothing all day, I can do that because the way I set things up, the kids know how to go get something to eat and they're fine. They know how to, do what they need to do without me being right there. And I'm not saying that I'm leaving them unattended or anything like that, but I had to learn to not hold their hands after certain points and on certain things. I have to let them learn how to do things. And I always say that, homeschooling, your goal is not to teach your children. Your goal is to teach them how to learn. Okay, you're teaching them how to learn. And I've have, done pretty good for usually I say about 8 years old. That's when you sit across the room and your kids are over there doing their work. You don't sit next to them. Mine are pretty, they're only 6 and they're pretty good, and that's it's because I spend a lot of time with their reading. And so that's what I'm going to really focus on now with the 5-year old, her reading, so that she can go get whatever book that she chooses, even if it's encyclopedia, and read it. And I don't have to say, okay, let me help you with this. Mimi says, I'm still learning too. Mimi, submit to Christ says, Mimi, this is what makes us humble homeschoolers. We can admit we are still learning and admit our failures. Yes. Mimi says, me too. MochaMommy7. I'm a hand holder. With my oldest girl, things are going to change. You all will see things are going to change with them because I was, she's very, I don't want to say, everybody has a struggle child. She's my struggle child. It's always a battle with her because she's the one that one day she can read everything and spell everything and write everything, and the next day she acts like she does not know anything. And patience, I have to use great patience, especially when it comes to her, because she is one that I could just easily say, do you want to go to school? Do you want to go to public school? Because I can't do this. Or, do you want to do, you know, what the 5-year old is doing? Because you seem to not be able to do this. I don't know whether, let me grab this. I'll show you something they were doing recently. Put these in that box. They were working on some copy work. And it was interesting because she is one that she'll do, but she'll act like she couldn't do. And my son is usually the first one. Now this is, we're working on writing on the lines and stuff. A little thing on Phyllis Wheatley. We've been learning about Phyllis Wheatley for a very long time. They were introduced to her through Liberty's Kids, the series. And so some little copy work. And so what happened was, I thought she would, I was showing them your work. You did a good job. Um, You want to go outside? You stay right out there and you can go out. She had gotten, uh, I don't know, probably way down here. And my son had three little words. He didn't want to do anything. Layla's way down here. And I said, well, that's good. She's determined. She gets those spurts where she just wants to do and be done. And I had to tell her, what a good job she was doing and encourage her. And but when I gave it to her, I had to think she might not do this. And what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna give up? And this is everyday, with everything. She'll look at it and she'll look at me. She'll look around the room and oh my gosh. So I always have to put a spin on things to make her, but there are certain things that they have to learn how to do. She has to learn how to write. So I try to do it as easy as I can, but they are beyond that one word thing, sentence thing. I'm trying to get them to, stay on the line, excuse me, and get this grammar thing down. So uh, usually it's the copy work they were doing is they were tracing over the whatever was on the page, whether it was something I found or something I made. So we're transitioning to the big kid style, and she just has to know that she's gonna have to step up her game because in a couple of months, the 5-year-old will catch up, and I don't think she'll take too good to that, knowing that everybody's catching up, and then the 3-year-old, she's on everybody else's heels already. So yeah, I have to, let me see, Pioneer Academy. Hello, everyone. This is my first year homeschooling, and I set a mission statement and goals for our school year. That is awesome. Would you like to share? Vicky says, hello, Pioneer Academy. Samantha Christ says, hi, Pioneer. Welcome. Mimi says, hello. So, yeah, I have to get out of that hand holding because she will, children will manipulate. If you give them that wiggle room, like I said, you have to crush their ego. If you give them that wiggle room, they'll have you thinking they can't do anything. They can't read. They can't remember 2 plus 2, even though they can. If you give them 4 suckers, they'll figure out 2 plus 2. Okay, kids are sneaky like that. Um, be use your discernment and know that you have to be. You have to when you set out to homeschool. You want to stick it out. You have to know that every day is not going to be roses. You're probably going to have a lot more bad days than good days in the beginning, and that's because you haven't really determined your path. If you set your goal, then you'll find out every day. Um, when you look back at what's going on, if you are a picture taker or a blogger, you actually get to look back and say, hey, we did do this, we did do this, we did do this, instead of I failed or, they failed. Don't be so quick to try to go through the book in a year. Sometimes it may take you a year and a half. And on that token, a lot of homeschoolers, I know homeschoolers tend to excel because it's individual and they, can move around more freely. But a lot of people do not talk about the homeschoolers that are behind, and that's due to lack of commitment. I see a lot of, the handwriting, you know, we are working at second grade level. A lot of parents are teaching cursive writing, and I see the print work of the child, and I'm like, why are you doing that? I have the materials. I'm not getting ready to do that. That's a developmental process. A lot of kids are not even able to write anything until they're around 6. So why go into that when you don't have to? It's easier. It's this, it's that. Yeah, but if they don't know how to print, that is a developmental issue. It's a fine motor issue. So we just kind of, we take our time. They do have interest, but that's not something I want to make sure that the writing is legible and, they know what they're doing before I do something else. It's not a race indeed. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, I gotta answer this text. Mm-hmm. All right, so going back to our question, our topic question, are you a homeschooler? So we have been here an hour and a half. Um, who else agrees or who disagrees? Who feels that, what do you think you need improvement on? I've heard patience, I've heard commitment. What else? Grace. Remember, I said keep in mind that you are perfect. It's just your idea of perfect. If the world's perfect is not our perfect. Mimi says, all right, going to start from the beginning now. Oh, well, enjoy. We go back up here to Wendy was asking what makes, how do you all manage to homeschool your children successfully? So, how long has everybody been homeschooling? How many children do you have? Oh, yeah, I get you the beginning of the video. So I said, enjoy. And I will see you next month. Yeah, our mission statement Failure is not an option. Faith, family, fun. So we are going to do everything that it takes. You're not allowed to fail. Not gone yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, all of my children are not, they're mine, but I know that they all learn differently. They're all different. They all need to be taught certain things differently. And I do that. I had to learn by just watching them. Watch, watch, watch. So I see a lot of times the parents trying to tap into older me. Fine, it's good to they have the learning style evaluations and things like that. Those are kind of good, but again, if you have to know how to translate them, and sometimes they can be a little skewed. The best way to find out how your child learns is to just watch them. Don't give them any books or any, worksheets or anything. Watch them play. Watch them interact. Watch them talk to you. I talk to my kids from day one. Watch them do things, and that will give you uh, the best idea of what you can use with them. You see a lot of kids that are hands on, so you know that you're going to have to equip them with some manipulatives so that they can, and that's also visual. Some kids are they're visual, and you know that they are workbook children. Some kids are auditory. Those are the ones that you have to set things to music. Mimi says, I've been homeschooling for 3 years, still trying to get my groove. Consistency. Yes, definitely consistency. Like I said, I could have, with the 6-year old, I could just let her do whatever and she would not do anything. She would just do what she wanted when she wanted. But I have to consistently, I give her the same. I don't back up and say, okay, you don't have to do this because I know you don't want to do it. There's no, I don't want to. Because she knows that if you don't even try, you fail. And failing is not an option. Pioneer Academy says in the beginning, I would watch videos where people would talk homeschooling 3 or 4 hours a day. That wasn't our story. Humility informed that I had to teach the child I have. Yeah, the ideally, 3 or 4 hours. It's just something, Of course, we don't have to do, like we're not public school at home. I agree. You don't have to school a child 6 to 8 hours in order for them to learn. A lot of that is the teacher spending time correcting behaviors and giving out instructions. Because, see, the work, that's why they come home for homework, because they didn't do anything in school. But at the same time, you don't want to limit to that 3 or 4 hours. You need to, you might have to take school outside. You might take school to the kitchen. You're in there cooking. Home ec. You might go to the grocery store. You might go to the library. You might go to the museum. So you're not going to limit that time. And again, if it takes the child, an hour to do the project, to cut in the pace, um, you're in for a long day. I know for us, some things I have to modify. The read alouds, for us, we never really get to the read alouds. Ideally, I would like to do a read aloud after lunch, but we don't get to that. So our chapter books, our read alouds, are done at bedtime, and we are more productive that way. We work through the books faster. I have story time, and we'll do, just a quick little books, but actual read alouds, and they're more engaged at the end of the night. So you have to learn how to modify those things. Yeah, you teach the child you have. That is so important, not what you see. Submit to Christ. Been teaching about 3 years. Vicky says about 12 total, not consecutively. Submit to Christ. At the end of the day, homeschooling takes sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice, self-denial, yes, and prayer. Homeschooling is a lifetime. It is indeed. Indeed. Definitely self-denial, because sometimes I can just want to do something else. I just not want to do teaching, and I have to think that, this is what I signed up for. Um, I say when you're, like I said, when you're going through the next couple of months, take your time. Even if you've been homeschooling for a while, you may find that you've been turning over curriculum at a rapid pace. And a lot of times it's not the child, it's the parent. Something that the parent could be doing more to that curriculum. You don't have to necessarily use it the way it's intended. Find a way to use it so you're not constantly dumping money into that. And just, you have to be humble enough to admit that what you saw, what you selected was not the right choice. It may look fantastic and it may look, great when you saw it. And it just, you cannot imitate what you see somebody else do. Some people feel that they get, let the kids outside, you know, after lunch. My kids go outside before breakfast or after breakfast, before school. I let them run off some energy before they do anything, because they tend to focus more like that. But I don't really see anybody, doing that. Very rarely I will see, watch the parent, vlog, and the kids are outside in the morning. It usually happens in the afternoon. Faith says, I like that. The homeschooling Umi. Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon. Yeah, you have to just kind of have to figure out what works for you. And the interesting thing is that when you do find somebody that you can, you know, get that good advice from, homeschooling wise, you will see their you're gonna have some similarities in your styles. Your family, you should have something similar, and that's when you know it's a nice fit. But you also want to make sure that you have to be careful. Don't change your beliefs and your practices, because a lot of times that has influence in homeschooling. So if somebody is, in but different practice or different beliefs, that's what they're schooling towards, their ideology. So you have to be very, very careful. Again, that's why I say the following the different approaches, the Waldorf and the classical and all of that stuff. Mm-mm. Research, research, and do your own research. Write your own questions. There are answers that I still have not gotten watching anybody's videos. Okay, because I have my own agenda, my own set of questions. And, I do this all the time, and I may not get the answer. I may get the answer. I may share, and through experience. And sometimes I may share, with somebody else if somebody's talking about something and they're asking a question in their own blog and they need some input, I may share. And, I'm doing that from heart. Some people are not humble enough to accept. They look at it as negative. But, the intention is not negative. That's why scripture is important, staying grounded in the word. Yes, ma'am, and submit. So for those of you that just joined, I encourage you to go back and watch from the beginning so that you can get the scripture and just go meditate on it yourself and really apply it and just take this couple of months. Like I say, going into your homeschooling, even if that means reviewing this year in the fall for a couple of weeks so that you can get on the right path. Okay? Do that. Don't move forward until you're clear. Okay? You don't want a lot of confusion already in the path when you're just starting out. Want to, the airplane, you get the plane out on the runway and you have oh, I can't even think of the guy. The guy out there standing on the tarmac. Uh, you got to make sure to direct the plane so it can take off smoothly. That's what you want to do in homeschool. You want to take off smoothly. So if that means slowing down, changing things up. Some people go on they might go on a 4 week, 5 week on, 1 week off schedule. Do that. Sometimes you may do, for us, we'll do focus on one subject a day. Hmm? To the boy, but that does not mean we won't hit another subject. But I will, math is one day, science is one day, and that's usually towards the end of the week because I want to get the math, the reading, and the language and grammar and all of that towards the beginning of the week because that's the heavy stuff. Um, but I don't do all of that. We don't go hour by hour because that's a lot to process for them. That's the reason why I don't spend a lot of time reteaching things. We spend that day on that particular subject. What's the matter?
Mom, Layla, and I'll leave it inside were outside eating the Cheetos, and they littered the bag on.
Okay, go get it for me. And Pioneer Academy says I think my patience is definitely needs improvement. Yes, and so by us, spending a day on each subject, that means I can focus more time. I'm not pressured to, okay, she needs more time with the reading. I have to move on to math, and if I don't, we're gonna be behind. See, I don't have all of that. And did they actually remember what I taught them? I don't have all of that because we spend that day and then we just start all over again. After we go through spelling quickly on the next day, we'll go back to reading. They're not forgetting, they're remembering. The same thing with math. We'll pick back up. We'll do the first page, second page. We'll skip the next day. Okay, we finished, grammar. Let's finish this math. I just, I don't have that many hours in a day to go through, and I can't navigate. I see a lot of people, like you said, with the 3 or 4 hour. I don't understand. I don't. I that's not my reality. I'm not saying that it cannot be done, but idealistically, those are also people that I see that go to the store and they're going shopping or they're going on outings, they're doing things on the weekend. I'm in my house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? So that tells you how much time I'm putting in. You can have that.
We got to split.
Obviously, yes, we go to the grocery store, but that's not something. It's not like every other day I'm running to the grocery store. We're not going anywhere. If we're going out, we went to the park the other day. That was once in a, we're not out and about like that. So we're able to get a lot done, and I'm able to take a week off. If I want to take a week off, um, if I want to take a couple days off, we're able to do that. When I'm not stressing out, they're not stressing out. The crisis. This is why this platform is important because we can hold each other accountable, encourage each other to keep going. Pioneer Academy says I only have one. Okay. How is that, being a parent of one, in homeschooling? I know a lot of people struggle with that because, the social aspect. What do you do? Some people have no options. Well, you can enroll the child in extracurricular things and not a whole barrage of things, um, but get them into something, that also lends itself to an elective. And, you may have a co-op or you may have friends. You go to the park. Um, the biggest social thing, a lot of people say, well, the homeschool kids are not socialized. Do you play board games? Do you play Monopoly? Do you play Sorry? Do these board games? Everybody plays games. That is socialization because a lot of these games are not cooperative games. Some are, but some are not. You have to learn how to work together. You have to learn how to, work apart and this communication. So they're definitely being socialized. I can't say that about all homeschooling platforms. Yeah, I say
won't give me back my Lena. She thinks you bought them for her.
why is it an issue? Let me go see what's going on. You got to dancing through this maze of stuff. What's the problem? What's the problem? take his Legos. So this comment says, okay, you can't say that about all homeschooling platforms. That I do appreciate. Mimi says, I do 4 weeks on, 1 week off. Yeah, you find your groove, and then during that 1 week, that's a week you may line up doctors, dentists, eye doctor. You may go on vacation. You may just spend that time doing nothing. Mimi says, do you think you will add more subjects in the day as they get older? Right now we do, I think, 8. And again, that's because we homeschool uh, 7 days, 7 days a week. Um, what happens is they begin to master. They learn. I taught them how to learn, so they're not spending so much time. This they're gonna know how to write on the line. They're gonna know how to fill in the blanks. They're not gonna have to go through all of the mechanics, the foundations they've gotten. So we're gonna stop. That's why I said I eased up on buying things. I stopped buying things because they've gotten a foundation of things, and I don't have to keep teaching that. We just build on it, and they're going to get into writing paragraphs. Then they will move into, writing stories and things like that. So it's not necessarily more subject; it's more complex. They'll get into reading the chapter books uh, to themselves rather than me doing the constant read alouds, and then they'll come to me and we'll talk about. So obviously that's going to take a little bit longer, but reading, they're going to learn a lot of grammar, a lot of mechanics, you know, a lot of vocabulary. That's why I put so much emphasis on reading. Reading is a very complete subject. You can read a science book and learn a whole lot without doing anything. Mm-mm. Anything hands-on, that is. Mimi says I've gone back and forth with one subject per day. And like I said, it doesn't mean necessarily, okay, we're just going to do math today, but our math could have some, of course it has reading in it, but it could have some, it can involve some science, and the same thing with our reading books. It can involve some social studies. So, but we target, let's go to your work box, get your uh, give me your reading folder, give me your language arts, your grammar folder, and that's work that's in there. Um, that's what we're going to do. And then all of the extra, I pull out of my file crate, and that's what I give them to do. Let's see. Exactly. I took my children to the park the other day, and I heard some children say, "Let's play the nasty game." Wow, nasty game. What the yeah. Yeah, well, you all know what I'm saying, but yeah, you have to be careful with the children at the park. But again, you have when you once you take the children outside, you can put send them outside to play and have that exposure to negative. But I'm saying they get that socialization. There's plenty of opportunities, and then especially with an adult. I don't know. A lot of times, we have elders, and when we have elders in nursing homes, that's a good place to take little children because they learn to, they have more respect. They learn more respect for the elders, and they have more compassion. And Elders are always looking for somebody to talk to, and they love kids. That's what, think about. A lot of times they'll let you go in and do arts and crafts with them. So that's something to think about. Or even board games. Amy says I had to have a discussion with my daughter because her breasts are coming in. And there are nothing but boys in our neighborhood that they play with. Oh yeah, I agree. The talk, she must guard her heart. Proverbs 4:23. Mimi says I had to explain what is appropriate and what is not when it comes to our body. These kids, these yeah. Submit to Christ said, Mimi, I know so sad in the older days they would not have those discussions because they already know exactly. Yeah, these days these kids are not they're not getting the information at home. They're finding out on the internet, and it's all the wrong information. So they're finding out from their friends. So we're at 2 hours. I need to get ready to get off of here and get these kids some lunch so I can get to cleaning up. We are supposed to be homeschool planning for the next 4 weeks during our break. And that's what I'm going to be doing next week once I can sit down and think. I've been planning in my head, and I just I had to. She's touching me. Do y'all see? Y'all think I have it easy. She's touching me. He's touching me. He won't stop. Oh, and that little one, I vlogged some stuff yesterday. I don't know. I'm going to share. I had to call my daughters. I said, the little girl talked so much. I didn't know she knew so many words. It was like 30 minutes, and I don't say shut up. But, okay. Okay. She would not be quiet. And it was like one of those save me days. So yeah, I had to stop myself from opening up boxes because that's where I'm at. So I'm going to try to get them back on doing something so I can work on some things. We need to get some normalcy back around here. But yeah, I tell you, that little girl, because there's, everything is put up and she wants, I don't know what she was asking me for, something in the box. She's upset because it's in the box. And it's like, Lord, can we just get through these next couple of days so you can have this mess in this box because you're going to drive me crazy. um, yeah, she was talking and talking and talking. And one of my daughters said, put some tape on her mouth. And it brought me back to her. She used to do the same thing. And I think the last time I had that experience was when she was 12. Again, we grew up, we weren't allowed. Shut up and what were two words that were like swear words. Those were two words that we cannot say. We cuss, even though we wouldn't, but we cannot say shut up or what. We can answer my mom what. We would, that was like the death of us. But I would tell her, girl, you need to be quiet because I would leave the room 20 minutes later, she's still talking. Mouth almighty, tongue everlasting. Yeah, that's how the little girl was last night or yesterday. I was like, somebody please save me. Please save me. I cannot do anything. And she wouldn't let me get up and leave the room. Like, I need to go and, can I go to the bathroom? She wouldn't let me do anything. She just kept talking and talking and talking. Boy. It says everyone is curious at the age these days. Hormones changing. I'm just trying to be steps ahead. I agree. Yep.
To,
Liv, come here, come here.
straight in my face.
Okay. You guys know what I do. I have a t-shirt. This is our get along shirt. It's one big t-shirt. And I make
I
them,
want to do this.
you have to wait a minute, wear that get along shirt. So their bodies are in that one shirt. It doesn't take that long. But I think I'm gonna have to go find a get along shirt. Cause I don't know what to do. Vicky, Vicky says, why does everyone emphasize social interaction with only their peer group? It's unrealistic for the rest. Exactly, it is. And socialization in school is forced. Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Vicky says, I know the only reason they do it is because you're going against the system. Yeah. Vicky says, if I was trying to learn how to make my way and my decision, why would I want to do it with someone in the same boat as me? Exactly. And that's what I was talking about being a homeschooler. You're trying to figure your path. It's not wise to follow somebody that's in your same boat. You might follow, you see somebody with a preschooler. Oh, I have a preschooler. But guess what? They just started. They can't really help you because they don't know what to do. We want, we wouldn't want more wisdom than what we have. I'm oftentimes looking for parents of twins, you know, and there are a few, but it's hard, and they're not really sharing what do you do if they're on seemingly two different levels or they're two different type of learners. So those are questions, and obviously a lot of you all don't know. Mimi does have twins, but a lot of parents don't, and so those are questions that's why I continue to watch. But I also like to share because I do find those parents that have twins. But yeah, you don't want to be. They want your children to be brainwashed zombies. Yeah, you don't want that. Even now, I'd rather sit back and talk with older people and hear the stories of wisdom. Yes, definitely, definitely put wisdom. Yeah, listen to the elders. Just listen, and you all know I had I lost my godmother the other day, and it's just 83 years of wisdom, and it's just like it just rocked my world. I could go to her and just sit and listen at her feet. Mimi said, "Hello." She did. Wait till I put that little footage up. I don't know. I think it was probably about 8 minutes between me calling the two of them. She said tape, and then she said, "Ew, don't put tape on my mouth." I was so spent, I couldn't even think of that. And I'm like, that is a good idea. I love that. I love sitting at older people's feet with a cup of hot cocoa and cookies, listening to the story of wisdom. Um, but you know what I said, Mimi? I told her, okay, since you don't want me to put tape on your mouth, I'm gonna put tape on my ears. I said, because I can't with you right now. LOL, you are cracking me up. Please save me. Yeah, I had to put tape. I don't know. She eventually stopped talking. I don't know when. I think I turned the camera off, but she stopped because I just had to leave the room. then that's when I say, here, I'm gonna give you some worksheets so you can have something to do. And she wanted her blocks. That's what it was. She wanted her wood blocks. She was near one and certain blocks away in the other room somewhere in a box, and I already taped up the box, so no wood blocks. Selling tape on your ears. That's a good one. Yeah. I said you guys have to know the relationship with my kids. But yeah, cotton balls, yeah, something. Cause and I don't know, I have shared, but I am partially hearing impaired. Um, and it just, even with that, it's just all I heard was, and I'm just like, why are you being Jordan again? All over again, you are being Jordan. Oh my goodness. In fact, I was talking to her last night. We were on the phone. This child had me up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Jordan, it's 1:05. It's time to go to bed. I'll call you tomorrow, or you call me tomorrow. Um, and she'll definitely be my one that'll entertain me. Are you counting? You can get your pencil and write those numbers if that's what you want to do. You want to do some work. So, today is 25th. I need to call talk to some people. Special day for a couple people I know. I will not, well, I'm not losing internet, but I'm not coming back on here until I will have internet again Monday. Well, I'm probably not going to come back on until the 1st, which is next Thursday. So no Sunday. I need to rest. And bless you. So don't, bless you. Don't be alarmed that there won't be a Sunday live stream. And I don't know if I actually wrote down and look at my notes. I wrote down the topic or I just had it in my head or something. I don't think I wrote anything down. I just had an idea of something. And so Thursday is a school day, so that'll be a school topic. Somebody said submit to Christ. You said earlier, you said something that would be a good topic. Let me go back up there and see if it's still here. If you remember, you can text it to me if I don't find it. I have to find it before I close out before I log out the chat or I'll lose it. I could have thought I saw you talk about how lust leads to no sin. Um, I don't see it. I'm trying to scan. I don't know. I'm gonna try to. If I don't bring the topic I was speaking on next, it'll probably be the next one. Like I said, everybody's coming out of their school year, around this time if you haven't already. And, I've seen a lot of end of the year reviews and things like that. So That's what I want you all to come in with, uh, so that we can share, you know, help each other out, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't see that topic, but I'm going to make sure I don't close this out. But I know I heard you say something. Does anybody have anything else to say? Was the chat what you expected? What did you take out of this chat? That's what I'd like to know. Mm, Put my hands out, isn't it? Let me go back now. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. Beautiful chat. Okay, looking forward to the new homeschool room. uh, Looking forward to the new homeschool room. Scripture reference, matters of the heart. Yes, you did great job. So now you remember how to write your. You remember how to write your numbers. You do. So yeah, if anybody has anything that they want to, if they're posing for the next homeschool related topic, I can look into that and see if I can, come up with something if I have, if there's been any experience, because you all know that I come to you from experience. I'm not just sitting here talking. And you can go take a seat if you finished already. You put your name on your page. You want to do that, so do it. Let me grab my pen. I'm looking at what you said, Proverbs 4 and 13. Ooh, note page. Proverbs. No, I said 4 and 13. I'm so dyslexic. 20, matters of the heart. Safeguarding your heart. Okay, that's a good one. Submit says MM7. I remember Compass Rose asking about coupons and how to shop there. Okay, shopping. We can We can talk about that. 'Cause I don't know. Everybody lives in different states, and it's different everywhere. And I had somebody ask me some things as well. That's why I shared the inventory and meal planning videos because they needed to know how to shop and cook and things like that. Prep. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Plenty of places. If you all have favorite places to find recipes, okay, that's another thing. That's you planning your year. Incorporate your meal plan. That would be the first thing I would do. Get a meal plan going. What? Did you say what? What would you call it? Okay, that's better. That's a lot better. Why you have a lighter in your pocket? No, you go in the living room and go sit for me for a minute. Go in the living room for a minute, and I'm gonna come in and get you some lunch. Is that a good idea? All right. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. No. What are we gonna do about your hair? No. That's right. You need your hair done. No. All right. No. Yes, ma'am. She won't let me comb her hair. Say hi. You want them to say hi to you? Dad, why do you think you're gonna snap the tape from Jordan and put it on maybe her mouth? The way you would organize unit type studies if you do them for multi-age, how do you keep them straight? Reference materials you want to use. That's a good one. If you do those. Yeah, we do. Said I did share. We're still using Galloping the Globe and Countering the Country, and those are unit study geographies. Yes, I did do a video, and I extended that to a virtual. So I think what I'm going to do is, it's not too late. If you all want to join it, I can share with you all how to join. And that is the stuff that I shared in their interactive notebooks. Part of it was hands-on one day. It was like we were taking two countries. In the countries, it's two countries or two states a week. It just depends. And part of it is, they're doing the coloring, the maps, the flags, and the little facts. And then the next day they're doing a video. They're watching a kid video on that country, and it's a lot of fun. So, and I just did that because I had, my high schooler, and well, he was in middle school when we started, and these guys, and I'm trying to teach geography and looking at that curriculum now. That particular curriculum covers like all the major subjects because it gives you Bible references and there's cooking and all sorts of things in there, arts and crafts. But it was easy enough for me to do to teach geography to all of them at one time. So it works. You're trying to get that off. You want to get it off? We'll just add a nail. So yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Organizing the studies. All right. Oh my God. You got it off. Let me write this down real quick before I forget this. Hang on, don't fall over because then you're going to be in a world of trouble. Balance yourself. You need to balance before you fall. Unit. And I think I shared that video probably early last year. I think it was in January I shared that video. January or February. I do You want to? Okay. Say good afternoon. See you next time.
See you next time. Good afternoon. See you next time.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Are you saying I don't want her to say it?
You don't want her to say it.
I smell spaghetti.
She smells spaghetti. All right, it's really time to go. We're not eating spaghetti.
No.
All right, you all enjoy your week, and we will see you all. Is that sort of thing? Okay. Yeah, definitely. I will talk about that. The safe move and enjoy your new vacation, new memories. See you all in a week. Yes, I will schedule schedule for the day, and then you all give me a 30-minute window, just because. But otherwise, shalom.
I saw the one.